I'm Henry Little, Chief Executive of Opera Rara. And as part of our 2024 Big Give fundraising campaign that supports Opera Rara's work with emerging young singers, I'm speaking with many of the artists who have featured or will feature in one of our studio opera recording projects. I'm really thrilled to be joined today by the French mezzo-soprano Katia Ledoux. She's calling us today from Amsterdam, where she's currently involved in a production of Les Lacrimes d'Eros at Dutch National Opera. Katia, it's a great pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you for having me. Hi. I'm very glad to be part of this fundraising campaign.
Fantastic. Well, just a little bit about you, Katia. Since 2022, Katia has been in the ensemble of soloists at the Volksoper Wien. And she's also made some exciting role and house debuts throughout Europe, including her most recent Royal Opera House debut last season, singing the role of Bercy in André Chernier. You made your opera debut in 2022 in our recording and concert of Offenbach's La Princesse de Trebizond. We released that recording late last year, and I'm very pleased to say that it's since won an OPA award and also an Opus Classic award for Best Opera Recording of last year. Katia ended her Salon Concert series last season by giving an absolutely stunning recital at the Inner Temple here in London. And I'm really pleased to say that she'll be returning to join us in a future studio opera recording project, the details of which we will share very soon. So please do watch out for that. Katia, let me start by asking you what makes Opera Rara so unique and special?
Everything, everything about Opera Rara is quite unique and special and so important in the world, in the music world of today. I think my first love for Opera Rara is this research for composers and pieces that are just not known by the audiences, just to find, I think that one of the things that today's music scene suffers a lot from is that it's always the same three pieces that are on the top of everything. You have 10,000 versions of the Magic Flute and of Tosca and of La Traviata. And then you have like people actually, you know, putting efforts to find new pieces, refine big hits that used to be big in history, and bringing them to today's audiences. And it changes the landscape, the musical landscape of today. And that added to the part with really working with singers that have huge careers and are on top of the game, as well as singers that are just starting out. So it's like this gorgeous mixture of we're changing the world to make it a better place, and we're doing it on a high level, but with giving, young artists with a lot of potential also a huge platform to be discovered.
Well, that's very kind and generous of you. I mean, one thing which is very clear is that you're on the verge of what I'm very confident is going to be a major and very successful global career. Tell us a little bit about that first experience of recording with Opera Rara. How do you take that with you into your future work?
So for me, my very first opera recording, La Princesse de Trebizond, I was so nervous. I was really, because it was quite a huge project, and with the London Philharmonic Orchestra, with it's like all as I mentioned, the level of working at is really high, and I felt like I had to, prove myself. And nowadays, I mean, I can give a little bit of a scoop for Opera Rara audiences because it hasn't been announced yet. But I am working on my first solo recording, And I'm so glad that I've had the experience with Opera Rara before, because now I know how these things go and how to work in a recording environment. Um, this is a huge experience that I now carry with me and can be like, okay, now I know how this goes.
Great. You talked a little bit earlier about, the opportunity for younger emerging artists like you
Mm,
to work alongside artists with, much more established careers and a greater level of experience. And we do like to think of ourselves at Opera Rara as being an artistic family, which perhaps in a larger opera house is more, it's more difficult to replicate that. What does it mean to you to be part of the Opera Rara artistic family?
the thing is, I a few months ago, Michael Spires arrived at the Volkshofer in Vienna, and he jumped in as Tamino. And of course, he is a huge superstar, and everyone is like, "Oh!" And for me, I was like, "Hi, Michael!" I feel like we're family because he's part of the Opera Rara family. I'm part of the Opera Rara family. It feels like, we know each other. And I felt very special because I knew Michael Spires. Um, and I feel that's the thing. We're all connected, even though we work in so many different places and on so many different levels. I mean, I don't know. How do you get, as a young emerging artist, a, such a direct connection to these level of names?
Great. Well, like you, Michael made some of his very first recordings with us, and I think that community. It's great to know that it has resonances beyond opera rara into the wider European opera world. So that's a really good story to hear. Do you have
Absolutely.
a particular? What's your standout memory of recording or performing La Princesse de Trebizond? There was one thing you could say. What would it be?
I think, I think, I think I have two.
Okay, you're
And I'm
allowed
not
to.
sure. I'm not sure if either of those, you can cut either of those if they're not good. But they're um first thing was, I had the ultimate singer nightmare that's turned into a complete dream, is because I messed up my by reading my emails, and I didn't read that there were two different versions of the opera that we did. And so I only learned one of the versions. So when I arrived the first day of rehearsals, I realized that I did not know my role as much as I thought that I knew my role. And that was really such a scary situation story to be in. And I was like, oh my God, how did I mess this up? And then everyone in Opera was so kind and so nice and giving me just really the space to learn this in the quickest way possible. And then in the end, it worked out perfectly. I mean, the big number, the one big solo number that I have as Paola in La Princesse de Trebizond was literally something that I learned the day before the first rehearsal that we had. And it was really, really scary, but only possible in such a supportive environment as Opera Rara. That's the first story, if you want to keep that one. Um, and the second one is actually a very emotional thing that happened to be in London in September 2022 was Queen Elizabeth II died, and
Hmm.
it was such a special time to be in London and to be recording in this, with the London Philharmonic Orchestra, with all many, many people who knew her personally, who had met her personally, who were very deeply affected by it, and to know that we had a concert in the Queen Elizabeth Hall where we were to show our project. And I think I might not be wrong by saying that I think we were one of the first people to sing "God Save the King," because at we were right at that moment of transition. It was such an historical and emotional time to do this project.
The Queen's passing was a real period of shock and mourning for the whole nation. And I think the fact that we kept going with the project was what was really positive for me, and we were able to
Yeah.
kind of see it through. But obviously, that was then, and this is now. So tell us now what's going on. I know we talked about your current project at Dutch National Opera. What happens after that? Where can people hear you sing?
Well, as you mentioned, I am in the ensemble at the Volksoper, so I'm always every now and then at the Volksoper. I'll do Carmen a few times there, and I'm still in the Magic Flute. With there. But I think my next big one will be in Stuttgart. I do Jerzy Baba in Rusalka at
Mhm.
the Staatsoper Stuttgart. And that's one that I'm really looking forward to because it's a revival of a production that I adore. If you have any chance to go watch this Rosalka, it's beautiful.
Great. Well, we look forward to that and also to hearing news of future exciting debuts, which you no doubt will have in future. Katia, thank you very much for taking the time to join us and talk about your experience working as a young artist with Opera Rara. Um, for those of you who would like to see more, please take the opportunity to visit Opera Rara's YouTube channel, where you can see clips of Katia singing from the recording studio, as well as clips from her recent Salon concert that she gave in London. But for now, please can I encourage you to support Opera Rara's 2024 Big Give campaign, championing emerging artists. And you can do that by donating today. You can find out more at opera-rara.com/big-give-2024. And we've included that link in the description below. For now, thank you for being with us. Thank you for watching. And thank you especially for supporting the recording debuts of so many incredible young artists like Katia Ledoux.
Thank you for having me.